Notice the ongoing problem here is that he's saying, yeah, Jesus is making all these claims about himself, but they're just figurative. They're just metaphorical. But he says that the reason Allah had to abrogate those uses is because Christians started interpreting them wrong. But notice, why do Christians believe that Jesus is the divine son? Because of these things that Jesus said. So according to this guy, Jesus is saying all these things that are constantly making people think that he's claiming to be divine when he's actually not. He's just using figurative language. So notice, this isn't Christians later misinterpret it. The people who were there listening to him were interpreting this as claims that he's divine, right? You pointed out John 8:58. Muslims will look at that and say, what he's really saying is, wait, the people who were there picked up stones to stone him to death for blasphemy because of this. The real question, and this is the overall problem. You've got Muslims saying, Jesus makes all of these claims that really sound like he's claiming to be God, that he's claiming to be the divine son of God. He's making all these claims, but what he really means is all these other things. The question is, Muslims, why would a Muslim prophet be saying things that people are interpreting as him claiming to be divine? Why is he making claims that make him sound like the final judge of all humanity if that's not what he was claiming? Why would he make claims that make him sound like he's the one who raises the dead at the resurrection if that's not what he's really claiming? Why would he claim titles of Allah if he's not claiming to be Allah? Why would he claim that he can answer prayers if he can't, because he's just a mere servant? Why is he making all of these claims which over and over and over again make both his followers and his critics think that he's claiming to be divine? Is that what a Muslim prophet does? Does a Muslim prophet come out and say, I'm going to use all these insane metaphors to make it really, really sound like I'm claiming to be God, and I'm going to do this all day, every day until they want to kill me, and my followers are bowing down and worshiping me? I'm going to do that, and then 600 years later, someone's going to come along and say, oh, you just misinterpreted everything.
Well, also, I mean, Jesus was talking to them. He's going to use language that they understand. Why is he going to use language that they're going to misinterpret constantly, and then only later Muslims are going to somehow get right? Like, he's not talking to generations, hundreds of years later. He's talking to the Jews of the day. They understood him to be claiming to be divine, to be equal with God. So why aren't we interpreting Jesus' words in its cultural context? We got to interpret it in some later Islamic context. It's like if I said today, I'm Baal, you would think I'm crazy and claiming to be a god. But if you go back to like the Iron Age, Baal just meant, it could mean husband, it could mean Lord. It didn't necessarily mean that you were referring to yourself as a deity. So, it's like if I claim, like, why would I go around saying I'm Baal? And then people go, how could you claim that? No, I'm actually just claiming that I'm a husband. No, that's not how that works. You got to use language. You're going to use language that communicates your message to the people you're talking to. Jesus is doing the same thing to his disciples and to the Jews of the day. And he's using language to point out he is the unique Son of God that shares in the glory and the divine nature with the Father and the Holy Spirit. If you go down to verse 15, and you just read from there, it says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, he will give you another, the helper, who will be with you forever, even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, for he dwells with you and will be with you. Then Jesus says, I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you. Yet a little while, and the world will see me no more, but you will see me, because I live, you also live. In that day you will know that I am in the Father, and you in me, and I in you. So here we see very Trinitarian languages. There's a distinction between the Holy Spirit, the Father, and Jesus, yet they're all in each other in the same sense of divinity. So the Holy Spirit can come, dwell within us, and that's the same sense of Jesus dwelling in us, because it's the same God. So again, I don't understand how they could look at this and have to make all these convoluted ad hoc ways to just make this all not be Trinitarian. When you read John 14, 15, and 16 in context, you get a very strong sense of Trinitarian theology.
And one ongoing problem, I mean, if you're going to, it's one thing to say, don't believe the Bible's been corrupted. That's one thing. It's one thing to, it's something else to say, the Bible's been corrupted, and we're going to go to certain verses of this corrupted book and claim that this proves our religion. That's something else. That's weirder. It's another thing to say, yeah, I agree with all these claims in the Bible. I'm just interpreting them metaphorically and figuratively to agree with me, even though everyone who was listening to him interpreted them as him claiming to be divine. Again, if a Muslim prophet is stepping out, saying a bunch of things, and both his friends and his foes are interpreting him as claiming to be divine, you got a problem, because what that means is Jesus was a horrible, horrible communicator. That's what Muslims are telling us. It's one big insult. See, they think they're defending Jesus. They're insulting him. They're saying he was a moron. His followers were morons. He didn't know how to communicate what he actually wanted to communicate. And notice, it would have been very easy. Stop calling yourself the Son of God if you don't want people to think that. Stop claiming the divine attributes for yourself if you don't want people to think you have the divine attributes. Stop claiming that you can answer prayers if you can't actually answer prayers. Stop saying all of the things you're saying. And somehow our Muslim friends don't see the problem here.
Yeah, and even when he claimed to be the Son of Man, the consensus of scholars will say this goes back to Daniel 7. Because the Son of Man, there's a divine figure who comes riding on the clouds, something only God can do, and is given a kingdom and dominion forever. This is very much constantly claims to divinity, some sort of equal status with God. And again, throughout the Gospel of John, just clearly you see Jesus constantly saying he's got the same powers, he's got the same privileges as the Father. So it's a shame we have to keep pointing this out.
Yep, we got some serious problems.